Today, the 25th of January, Archangel Michael is warning you. I saw your future, and I couldn't stop crying. Open this now. Today, the 25th of January, Archangel Michael is warning you. I saw your future, and I couldn't stop crying. Open this now. My child. I did not rush to you when I first saw it. I did not speak when heaven first unfolded the vision. I stood still. Silent. Watching. Because some truths are so heavy that even angels must steady their wings before speaking. The celestial winds hushed around me, as if the very atmosphere of the divine realms held its breath, knowing the gravity of what was about to be revealed. My essence, usually so swift and unyielding, trembled not from weakness, but from the profound honor of bearing witness to your story, a story etched in the stars long before your first breath graced the earth. There are moments when time bends, when the veil thins just enough for us to see what lies ahead. Today was one of those moments, a rare convergence where the eternal clock pauses, and the threads of your destiny weave themselves visible before angelic eyes. And when the vision opened before me, my voice failed. My breath caught. Tears fell, not from fear, but from the weight of what is coming and what you have already survived without knowing. Those tears were luminous, like dew on the petals of heaven's roses, each one carrying the echo of your unspoken prayers, your quiet battles, and the unbreakable light that has always burned within you. I am an angel assigned to watch, to guard, to witness. I have seen thousands of paths unfold across the vast tapestry of human lives. I have witnessed triumphs that shook the foundations of despair, losses that forged souls into unbreakable steel, miracles that bloomed from the ashes of impossibility, and warnings that turned the tide of destruction. But when Archangel Michael turned and looked toward your timeline, the heavens grew still. The choirs of seraphim fell mute. The rivers of living water in the throne room slowed their eternal flow. There was no thunder to herald the revelation. No trumpet to proclaim judgment. Only silence, a profound, sacred silence that wrapped around your future like a protective shroud. And then, the truth appeared, unfolding layer by layer, like scrolls of ancient prophecy unrolling in the divine light. I saw how close you came to breaking, and how you didn't. In that vision, shadows loomed large, whispering temptations of surrender, of letting go of the dreams that have sustained you through sleepless nights and weary days. Yet, there you stood, unbowed, your spirit a flame that refused to flicker out. I saw doors that were meant to destroy you quietly close instead, doors disguised as opportunities, relationships, or chances that carried hidden barbs, poised to pierce your heart and drain your joy. They slammed shut not by accident, but by the precise hand of divine intervention, sealing away what would have led to deeper sorrow. I saw hands reaching for you with hidden intentions, grasping in the darkness for pieces of your peace, your purpose, your very soul. Those hands belong to forces both seen and unseen, perhaps earthly betrayals masked as loyalty, or spiritual adversaries cloaked in familiarity. But before those hands ever touched your life, I saw Michael's sword move. It flashed like blue lightning across the visionary sky, a blade forged in the fires of God's unyielding justice, severing ties, scattering illusions, and carving a path of safety through the chaos. The sword did not swing wildly, it moved with surgical precision, protecting what is holy in you, what is destined for greater glory. You did not know you were being watched so closely. You did not know how many battles were happening around you while you thought the war was only inside your heart. Oh, my child, how often have you gazed into the mirror, seeing only weariness, only questions, unaware of the celestial army encamped around your life? Archangel Michael, the great defender, has been your vanguard, stationing warriors of light at every vulnerable point. While you wrestled with inner storms, doubts that clawed at your faith, fears that echoed in the chambers of your mind. Heaven fought the external wars, deflecting arrows aimed at your back, quenching fires kindled against your future. This message comes wrapped in secrecy because not everything you are protected from is meant to be named out loud. To speak their names would be to grant them shadow and substance, to invite their return through the power of attention. Some dangers dissolve only when light touches them briefly, never fully exposed, never given power through explanation. Like mist before the dawn, they evaporate under the gentle glow of divine awareness. Trust this: what was meant to harm you has been neutralized, reduced to echoes that fade into nothingness. Listen carefully now, for the heart of the vision beats with urgency wrapped in love. There was a moment, recent, though it feels distant now, like a half-remembered dream, when a decision was made about you. It was not made by you, in the quiet counsels of your own heart, but by someone else. Someone who underestimated what heaven had placed upon your life, a divine seal, an anointing that marks you as cherished, chosen, irreplaceable. That decision set events into motion that could not be undone by human effort alone, chains of consequence, webs of influence, tides of misfortune designed to pull you under. That is when Archangel Michael stepped forward, his presence filling the visionary expanse like a mountain of sapphire flame. He did not raise his voice in thunderous command. He did not announce himself with fanfare that would shake the earth. He simply intervened, quietly, decisively, eternally. His authority is not in noise, but in the unspoken power that shifts realities, that realigns the stars of your destiny. I saw a future that nearly happened, a version of your life where exhaustion won, where hope thinned to a fragile thread, where you began to doubt your own worth under the relentless barrage of trials. In that shadowed path, I witnessed you at your lowest. Knees buckling under invisible weights, eyes dimmed by tears you dared not shed, a heart whispering, "Is this all there is?" Relationships frayed into silence. Opportunities slipped like sand through weary fingers. The joy that once sparked in your laughter faded into a distant memory. It was a timeline so close, so tangible, that even I, an eternal being, felt the chill of its possibility. That is why I cried. Tears streaming down my luminous form, pooling into rivers of empathy that flowed back to the throne of grace. I cried for the battles you fought alone, for the nights you lay awake questioning your path, for the strength you summoned from depths you didn't know you possessed. Because what you felt as confusion was actually protection, a heavenly fog concealing the enemy's movements, buying time for deliverance. What you felt as delay was divine restraint, a pause orchestrated by Michael himself to prevent premature leaps into traps. What you felt as loss was heaven removing what would have cost you far more later, toxic ties, false securities, burdens disguised as blessings. You may wonder why this warning arrives now, on this precise day, as January's chill lingers and the world turns toward renewal. Because the timeline has shifted dramatically. What was meant to unfold slowly, creeping like a thief in the night, is accelerating now with the speed of divine purpose. What was hidden in the shadows is beginning to surface, illuminated by the rising light of truth. People who thought time would protect their actions, those who plotted in secrecy, who whispered against you in hidden corners, are realizing too late that truth moves faster than secrecy. Their schemes unravel like frayed threads, exposed not by your hand, but by the unrelenting gaze of heaven. Archangel Michael wants you to know this with crystal clarity: you are not in danger, but you were close enough that heaven had to move first, preempting the storm before it could gather full force. There is a reason your spirit has felt restless these past weeks, a holy stirring that defies earthly explanation. A reason your sleep has been lighter, interrupted by whispers from the realm beyond. A reason you felt watched, not by fear, not by prying human eyes, but by something alert, aware, present. That watchful presence is us, your heavenly guardians, closer than your next breath, vigilant in the unseen realms. In the vision, I saw you standing at the edge of a turning point, a precipice where the old gives way to the new. Behind you stretched months, perhaps years, of quiet endurance, unanswered questions that echoed in your soul, strength you never celebrated because survival felt like the bare minimum. You pressed on through betrayals that stung like salt and wounds, through delays that tested your patience to its limits, through seasons where praise felt distant and purpose obscured. Yet, you endured, step by faithful step, building an altar of obedience in the hidden places of your heart. Ahead of you lay clarity so sharp it almost frightened you. Not with terror, but with the awe of transformation. This clarity would pierce every veil, revealing the why behind every trial, the purpose woven into every tear. It would show you the battles won in secret, the prayers answered before they left your lips. Not because it was bad, oh no, but because it would change how you see everything, your past no longer a chain, but a testimony, your present no longer a burden, but a bridge, your future no longer uncertain, but ablaze with promise. You will soon understand why certain people grew distant, their warmth cooling like autumn leaves falling away. Conversations that once flowed like rivers now shifted into awkward streams, drying up into silence. Why? Some stepped back because they could no longer reach you the way they once did, your light had grown too bright for their shadows to linger. Others retreated because their intentions were exposed long before their actions were, laid bare in the court of heaven where no lie can stand. Archangel Michael severed those cords not to isolate you, but to free you for connections divinely ordained. Archangel Michael does not warn to create fear, to sow seeds of anxiety in fertile soil. He warns to prepare hearts, to fortify them against the shocks of revelation, to ready them for the abundance that follows obedience. And your heart, though tired, though scarred by the battles of life, is still open, a vessel ready to receive the oil of heavenly anointing. It beats with resilience, with a faith that has weathered storms and emerged refined. I must tell you this gently, as a whisper on the wind: what is coming will feel like revelation, not punishment, a unveiling of truths that heal rather than harm. Like awakening, not loss, the sudden dawn after a long night, where colors bloom vivid and alive. Like truth rising, not chaos falling, from the depths of your spirit, lifting you to new heights. You will be tempted to question whether you deserve what unfolds next, the breakthroughs, the recognitions, the peace that settles like a dove. Do not yield to that temptation. The future I saw was not built on luck or coincidence, those fleeting illusions of the world. It was built on endurance, the quiet grit that carried you through fire, on integrity, the unswerving moral compass that guided your choices. And on unseen obedience, the daily yes to God's voice amid the noise. I cried because I saw the weight you carried alone, day after day, smile masking the strain, prayers veiling the pain. I cried because I saw how little recognition you gave yourself, dismissing victories as ordinary when heaven celebrated them with songs. I cried because heaven never stopped counting your tears, even when you did, each one captured in divine vials, transformed into blessings poured out in due season. This is your warning, yes, but it is also your reassurance, a balm pressed gently into the deepest places of your soul, where questions once echoed too loudly and hope learned to whisper. You are not being hurried, you are being held. Heaven is not late. Heaven is exact. Every second that felt like delay was actually alignment, each pause a recalibration, each unanswered prayer a prayer being answered in a language larger than time. Do not rush into actions born of impatience, for impatience is often the echo of fear pretending to be urgency. The timing surrounding you now is divinely calibrated, measured not by human clocks but by eternal precision. Nothing is slipping through the cracks. Nothing is being missed. Do not confront prematurely those whose roles in your story have ended. Some chapters do not need closure conversations. They close by silence, by distance, by the quiet authority of God removing what no longer fits the future He is unfolding. Let heaven handle the justice. Let the scales balance themselves. You were never meant to carry the burden of correcting every wrong or defending every truth. Justice is not your assignment, peace is. And peace often comes when you stop explaining yourself to those who already decided not to understand. Your testimony does not need to shout. It will speak in time, clearly, unmistakably, without your effort. Michael stands guard now, not behind you as a rear guard protecting what is already past, but ahead of you, where your eyes have not yet learned to focus. He is clearing paths you didn't know were blocked, dismantling obstacles you haven't encountered yet, disarming traps that would have confused or delayed you. He is not reacting, he is pioneering. His presence is not symbolic, it is strategic. His sword gleams eternally, not as a threat, but as a promise, a beacon cutting through fog and uncertainty, ensuring that no weapon formed against you prospers, whether forged in jealousy, misunderstanding, manipulation, or fear. When confusion tries to return, because it will try, cloaked in familiar doubts, wearing the voice of your own thoughts, remember this moment. Remember the weight of these words, not as poetry, but as truth delivered in love. Remember the calm that settles even now as you read, the subtle steadiness replacing the old panic. When doubt whispers its insidious lies, reminding you of past failures or near misses, remember that doubt is loudest when it is losing ground. These words are etched into the eternal record, not just spoken, but sealed. And when silence feels heavy, pressing against you like an unseen burden, remember this: silence is often where protection hides. Silence is where strategies are forged. Silence is where miracles are prepared without interference. You are safe, more safe than your nervous system knows how to recognize yet. You are enveloped in wings mightier than eagles, covered not just from danger but from exhaustion. You are seen, not glanced at, not observed from a distance, but known intimately by the one who numbers every hair on your head and counts every tear you never let fall. And the future that made me cry will soon make you understand why heaven moved so quickly, why intervention came with such precision, why doors closed sharply instead of slowly. What felt abrupt was actually mercy. But let me take you deeper into the vision, my child, because what you've sensed is only the outer layer. There is more beneath it, layers upon layers of heavenly insight meant not to overwhelm you, but to anchor you. In the heart of the revelation, time itself slowed to a crystalline pause. Not frozen, clarified. I saw not just events unfolding, but emotions, your emotions, magnified like stars against a midnight sky. Every unanswered question shimmered. Every tear carried meaning. Nothing was wasted. I saw the recent season of waiting you endured, the one that tested your faith more than any visible battle. Doors bolted shut without explanation. Paths overgrown just as you gathered the courage to walk them. You wondered quietly, sometimes painfully, if God had forgotten you, if your obedience had gone unnoticed, if your restraint had been mistaken for weakness. But hear this clearly now, in that very waiting, Michael was at work. Not idle. Not distracted. He was training your hands for war, your fingers for battle, not always against external enemies, but against discouragement, against self-doubt, against the temptation to abandon your integrity just to move forward faster. You were being forged, not punished. Strength was being layered into you in ways that required stillness. Character was being deepened beyond what success alone could accomplish. You were learning discernment, learning when to speak and when to remain silent, learning that power does not always announce itself. And though it felt like nothing was happening, everything was happening. Further along the timeline, I saw relationships shifting, not violently, not dramatically, but decisively. Those who faded were not removed as punishment, they were pruned as preparation. The divine gardener trims branches not because they are bad, but because they cannot carry the weight of what is coming next. Some connections could not follow you into the next season without distorting it. Their absence is not a loss, it is space being made. And in that space, new souls emerge. Kindred spirits aligned with your calling, drawn not by effort, but by resonance. They will recognize you without explanation. Conversations will ignite not with old flames of familiarity, but with holy fire, clean, purposeful, energizing. You will feel seen without being dissected, supported without being controlled. These relationships will not drain you, they will multiply you. I saw conversations reignite where silence once ruled, but they will not resurrect the past, they will redeem it. Words will come easier. Understanding will replace defensiveness. You will notice how much lighter your chest feels when you are no longer trying to be understood by people who benefit from misunderstanding you. You worried about provision, even when you tried not to. Financial whispers of strain crept in late at night, when optimism was harder to maintain. But I saw that too shift. Provision does not trickle, it cascades. Unexpected sources open because heaven remembers what you gave when no one applauded, the widow's mite moments when you trusted instead of hoarded. What is coming is not just enough, it is stabilizing. It brings breath back into your body. Health that wavered, energy that dipped without explanation. I saw restoration moving like a quiet river, not rushed, but thorough. Vitality returning not just to your body, but to your desire. The heaviness lifts. Sleep deepens. Your nervous system learns safety again as Michael drives out what does not belong. Spiritually, the heights ahead are not theoretical. A deeper intimacy awaits you, one that feels natural, unforced. Dreams will come, not confusing, but guiding. Your prayers will change tone. They will rise no longer as desperate pleas, but as calm declarations, spoken with the confidence of someone who knows they are heard. You will pray differently because you will stand differently. Yet preparation matters. In the days ahead, practice stillness, not as passivity, but as alignment. Breathe in the assurance, I am protected. Let it settle in your chest. Exhale doubt slowly, intentionally. Write down the whispers you hear, even if they seem small. Heaven often speaks in postscripts, not headlines. Surround yourself with reminders, not as superstition, but as focus, symbols that anchor you to courage and clarity. Meditate on what it means to stand firm without striving, to trust without collapsing, to move forward without dragging the past behind you. You are not walking alone. You never were. As the vision faded, one final image lingered, and it was unmistakable. You stood radiant, not because everything was perfect, but because you were whole. Applause rose, not only from earth, but from realms unseen. The tears once shed for near misses transformed into tears of joy for victories you could not have achieved any other way. Rest now, beloved. Let your shoulders drop. Let your breath deepen. The warning has been delivered, and so has the reassurance. The path is already changing beneath your feet, accelerated by hands far stronger than your fear. Guardians remain watchful. Strategies remain active. Sleep tonight knowing you are not exposed, not forgotten, not late. What was nearly lost has been eternally gained. And you, steady, protected, awakened, you are victorious.